And
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the June 21st, 2022 Library Board meeting at 7:30 p.m. Welcome, everybody. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm just going to share my screen with the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a very busy agenda this evening. Maybe busy is not the right word, but we have a lot going on. I wanted to just start off before we jump into public comment. The Board of Trustees met with the library staff today.
Hi.
We will be, hi Joe. We will be during the course of this meeting accepting our director Andrew Farber's resignation. So that will come during personnel actions. And we just wanted to upfront let everyone in the community know that we are taking appropriate steps to make the transition as smooth as possible. And we will be having subsequent meetings with the staff as we work through the transition. And we thank Andrew for his service to our community. At this time, we also are going to be ending the fiscal year at the end of June, as well as the 5-year term of Ronnie Diamondstein. And we'll be saying thank you to Ronnie this evening as well. I think as an outgoing trustee, Ronnie, did you want to make some remarks before we move into the rest of our agenda?
Yes, I want to, first I have to just undo, I don't want you to hear any background noise. So first I want to thank the trustees. You see behind me a beautiful arrangement of flowers that came today. Thank you, Liz, Shoray, Pam, and Jennifer. And then I had my doorbell rang a little while ago, and these two very charming gentlemen who happen to be Hameson children arrived with a gift from the library. So I wanted to say thank you publicly and thank the staff for that. So yes, Liz, I have something to say. So I'd like to speak to the Chappaqua Central School District community, taxpayers, and board about my experience as a library trustee. I wish to thank the people for the faith they put in me to do this work. It has been an honor and a privilege. It's been customary for trustees going off the board to say a few words. I'd like to do that now and set the record straight about my work on the board. I believe what I'm about to say will be very enlightening. So allow me to take you on a journey of the highlights and lowlights of my tenure on the board for the past 5 years. Libraries have been my life's work. I began in college working in my town library's summer reading program. I then worked in a public library and was a school library media specialist for 34 years. I'm a lifelong member of the American Library Association and belong to United for Libraries, a branch of the ALA for trustees and friends. I've also served this community as a volunteer on the Newcastle Community Media Center Board, the League of Women Voters of Newcastle Board, the Chappaqua Children's Book Festival Board, and was a charter member of the Town of Newcastle's Council on Race and Equity. A library trustee is a fiduciary. Their role includes oversight and evaluation of the director, oversight of finances, and to make policy. That is important to keep in mind as I go over my term on the board. There was no training or any mentorship for new trustees when I was elected to the board in 2017. That will be changing in 2023 when the state has mandated it. It's long overdue. You receive the handbook for library trustees of New York State, and that's it. So I read the book cover to cover and took notes. And I read all the Chappaqua Library policies. When you're elected, you make a special commitment to do the work. I did have an advantage and probably more knowledge than most new board members, since I was a librarian with over 40 years of experience. Sorry about that. And have school administrative certification. Trustees are supposed to ask questions, and I asked a lot of questions. I noticed things and I asked questions. My questioning was not always welcomed, but I persisted. How is one to perform the duties of an elected official without cooperation and explanation to facilitate these responsibilities? Many things about how the board operated surprised me. For example, in my first year, I learned that there was a board email account for the public to contact us. However, the only person who had access to it was the then director. The public should have the ability to convey their concerns directly to their elected officials, and such communication should be confidential to ensure privacy. That changed when I raised the issue, and only the board members now have access to that account. On the topic of emails, I was surprised that board members and even some library staff did not have library email accounts. That is not how professional institutions operate. So after I brought it to the board's attention, all board members were given Westchester Library System email accounts, and that has continued. At one of the earliest meetings, the director reported that she had difficulty finding someone to fill a librarian one position. She cited the reason to be the starting salary. At that time, it was $10,000 less than a neighboring library, which is truly outrageous. The Chappaqua Library was clearly not competitive and consequently had trouble recruiting staff. The Chappaqua Library was clearly not competitive and consequently, I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. I spoke up, joined the budget committee, and salaries became more competitive, and overall they were improved for the entire staff. Additionally, I worked on the benefits committee that helped change the sick leave policy to make it more in line with other institutions. I can't tell you how many staff members thanked me for that. Transparency is very important for any institution, so I inquired why we did not have the meetings recorded. I was told that hardly anyone came to meetings, so they thought the public wasn't interested. One board member said she didn't want to be on the internet 24/7. I raised the issue year after year, and it kept getting postponed. The last excuse was the construction. But then the pandemic came, and with Zoom meetings, we were now recording them and sharing them on the website. And that will now continue as it should. At one of the meetings my first year, a department head came to a meeting to discuss promoting a named staff member. She had been instructed to do this by the then director. The discussion of the named staff member was done in public and not in an executive session, which is what executive sessions are for. I didn't say anything during the meeting because I was new. But when I got home, I sent the board an email stating that the director should have not done that, citing the reasons that personnel issues like that should not be discussed in public. The response was that I should not have emailed them about it. Apparently, they knew I was right, and it never happened again. The first year I was on the board, I noticed the board did not evaluate the director. It is up to the board president to initiate this annual review. Evaluating the director is part of oversight, one of the board's primary responsibilities. When I asked to see the then director's previous evaluation, she refused to show it to me, claiming that according to the personnel handbook, I could not. That was incorrect, yet the then board president supported this non-disclosure. The following year, despite the continued resistance from some of the board members, a much more comprehensive director evaluation process was eventually adopted by the board. Then I was concerned about some of the events the library called programs. According to the library's program policy, programs are to be free and open to the public. The library was holding author book signings that were exclusionary. You could only attend if you bought a book. That goes against library policy. And sadly, a little boy was denied meeting one of the famous authors because he wasn't able to purchase a book. I wonder how many other children who weren't buying a book were turned away. Then, to make matters worse, library funds, your taxpayer dollars, were used to pay for the rental of a space and amenities for these programs, and a business and book publisher were making a profit. The library had spent $2,824 of your taxpayer dollars that year for these events. When I brought this to the attention of the then director and the board, some of the board members were quite resistant and argued with me. One even asked me where I got the policy from when I presented each one with a copy of it. The then director said that it was what publishers wanted. I told her the library was here for the community, not publishers. However, ultimately, the director knew I was right, although she never stated it publicly. Those types of events stopped and the Friends took them over. They became actual programs that included an author talk and purchase of a book as a Friends fundraiser. Then I discovered that the board and the then director were not in compliance with state laws. At board meetings, I always wondered why the board never made motions to appoint new staff members. The director would just tell us whom she was hiring. I knew that wasn't right. I brought this to the attention of the board. I cited that according to education law, section 226-7, all personnel actions must be approved by the Board of Trustees at a legal meeting. And that's something we'll be doing tonight. So we have.
Ronnie, thank you so much. I think this has been excellent, but I think we need to move forward.
Well, I'm not finished. And Liz is running this meeting, so I don't know who's interrupting me. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue. I'm sorry. Liz has not told me to stop, and I'm going to continue. I've been on this board for 5 years, and I want.
Go ahead, Ronnie. You're fairly close to done.
Yeah. Okay. Now I will finish. Okay. So we back to the state education law 226-7, all personnel actions must be approved by the Board of Trustees at a legal meeting. So we had to retroactively appoint every staff member, and now the board appoints new hires at public meetings. When I became the finance officer, my eyes were open on some serious concerns. I reviewed the finance procedures and started reviewing the bills. I noticed something that concerned me, so I did some research. I discovered that the library board and the then director were not in compliance with the state law regarding taxes, section 259. I had found that several years prior to this, many libraries were audited by the state controller and cited for not having a claims audit policy. That spelled out the procedures for trustees to physically review the bills each month. That was not being done until I became finance officer. Of course, as you can imagine, when I brought this to the attention of the board, I was met with resistance from some of the board members. And when I said we needed to convene a policy committee to write the policy, the then board president refused. She was finally persuaded to create the committee for only 3 months. By the way, writing and reviewing policy is one of the most important responsibilities of library trustees. We got the financial policies, claims audit, and petty cash written. And when I became board president, the bylaws were amended to include a standing policy committee. Along these lines, state municipal law requires seeking multiple bids for purchases. The then director would only show us one proposal, so I would have to ask for other bids. This happened regularly and was not in compliance with the state law. In March 2020, I employed the board and the then director to develop a pandemic policy. It was recommended by the American Library Association, and I volunteered to work on it, but that was also fell on deaf ears. It was not until I became board president that the board established this blueprint and policy. In October 2020, the then board president resigned because she moved out of state. I assumed the role of acting president until my official term began in January 2021. I then had to work with a new director as the former director had retired. Since the new director had never worked in the school district library, I needed to work with him on many issues and get him up to speed. I'd like to share the highlights of the accomplishments that I am proud of during my 15-month tenure as the president. The board accomplished quite a lot. Through the years, I would ask about complying with the long-range strategic plan, particularly in the area of communication. I'm pleased to say that when I became board president, I appointed a communications committee to work toward better communication. That included our library visual identity and our existing exciting new logo. I served on that committee and with another board member and staff. We have an improved newsletter as well, and I hope that will continue. From the moment I joined the board, I've been an advocate for the library, from participating in New York State Library Legislation Day to joining a Westchester Library System Committee and promoting the library and events on social media. I think there are a few people in the community who don't identify me with the library. And here are the main accomplishments. When the trustee left, instead of just appointing someone we knew, we reached out to the community and asked for people to apply. We did the same thing for treasurer and the same thing with the strategic planning committee. And then to make the meetings more business-like and change the tone, we started the meetings with the pledge. We started we moved public comments to the beginning of the meeting to make it more accessible to people who came to the meetings. They didn't have to sit through the whole meeting if they wanted to comment. Then I appointed policy, building and grounds, communication, and personnel committees. The board passed the pandemic policy and safety plan. We had mentorship for new trustees, 2 governance workshops for trustees, which we never had before, and a goals retreat. We invited the Westchester Library System trustee who represents us to come to our meetings. We oversaw a long-range strategic plan. We completed construction project and added a new roof. And the front of the library, as you may notice, and grounds are in dire need of repair. And I initiated a plan to improve the building and grounds of the library. We have the new logo, improved newsletter. We appointed a Centennial committee to oversee this celebration. And one really important thing that we did was we did an RFP for attorneys. An RFP is a request for proposals. Most institutions, like the school board, for example, every 5 years, they look for a new attorney. This library had never done that, and I'm happy to say that the library is now represented by a firm that specializes in education law and schools and libraries. And last but not least at all, one of the things that we started was to send thank you messages to the staff at Thanksgiving, the New Year, and the Centennial. It's a little thing, but to me, it's one of the most important things to do, to show the people who work for you that you appreciate what they do. Timothy Healy, former president of the New York Public Library, once said, "The most important asset of any library goes home at night, the library staff." I couldn't agree more. I'm proud of the work I have done for the community. I took my role seriously as a fiduciary and all the oversight responsibilities of a trustee. I hope that what I've said tonight will show how much the library board has accomplished under my leadership. Many years ago, I found a quote that has come to be my mantra: "Make where you are better because you're there." I've always tried to do that wherever I have gone. I hope I did it for the Chappaqua Library. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I was remiss in not mentioning that we are joined by our 2 new trustees this evening, Jennifer Fahey and Pamela Moskowitz, who are filling partial terms that were vacated earlier this year. So welcome to our new board members. We do follow Robert's rules of order for our meetings, and I, as president, I typically preside, but we would let you know if we had a different presiding officer. All right. Thank you for your remarks and your service, Ronnie. We appreciate it, and we truly appreciate everything that you have done and accomplished in your tenure and serving through the pandemic, which was an unexpected and not, a very challenging time. So we appreciate it. I'm gonna move on to ask Andrew to check and see if we have any public comment at this time.
For housekeeping purposes, please use the raise hand reaction. If you would like to make a public comment, I will then promote you in so that you can speak. We ask that your camera and microphone be turned on. At this time, there are no hands raised.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Then we will move into the agenda. Did anyone have any questions or amendments from the May 10th meeting minutes? Okay, then those are accepted as written. Okay, at this time, we have a couple administrative items. I wanted to, we have authorized signatories for the bank, and I'd like to ask for a motion, although we need to amend the motion to include the removal of Andrew Farber. Do we want to maybe move this to later in the meeting, the signatories?
Can I say something about
Yeah.
that? If you're going to add, since this is the resolution, if you're going to amend it, when are you making him not the signatory as of the tomorrow, like they are, or how is that working?
Some,
I mean, he's working till July 1st, so you can
right.
you can always remove him at the July meeting. We've often done that in the past.
Okay,
where,
I like that suggestion. So then I would just need a motion to authorize the signatories for Jennifer and Pam. So maybe Ronnie or Showray, would you like to make that motion?
Somebody has to read the resolution.
I'm happy to read the resolution if that's helpful. I'll read the resolution, and then someone needs to make
Right.
a motion, and then someone will second. So the resolution will read authorized signatories for the library's bank accounts, whereas the Chappaqua School District Public Library Board of Trustees have a fiduciary responsibility for all library funds, whereas the library has chosen Valley Bank to provide banking services. Be it resolved that the Chappaqua Public School District Library Board of Trustees has approved the following: that Valley Bank checking and money market accounts remove Town Nugent as signatory as of May 10th, 20.
That's the old one you read.
Oh, this is the, oh, I'm in the minutes. I'm so sorry. I'm not in the right, I need to scroll down, sorry. Add authorized signatories effective June 21st, 2022, Pam Moskowitz and Jennifer Fahey.
I'll move that we approve this resolution as amended to correct the spelling of Pam Moskowitz's name. I think it's spelled wrong. Pam, aren't you Moskowitz?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, well, there's a V instead of the W.
Okay, as amended.
Yeah, so you can read.
Showray, you're gonna second?
I second it.
Okay, do we need any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And Jennifer and Pam, I think you can vote on this.
Yes, you can. They can vote on it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. All right. The next thing I wanted to do is discharge the Centennial Committee. Thank you to Ronnie and Showray and all of the staff and Andrew for serving on that committee and serving up a fantastic celebration that we just had. And we're looking forward to the bubble bus on the actual day for the little kids, the 22nd. So that's exciting stuff, and appreciate all of your help in the past year pulling that together, or 6 months or so. Okay, that committee's now discharged. Then we have the review and approval of the calendar for the upcoming, the board, the board. So we have the calendar, the annual schedule, and then what we need to just approve as the trustees are our meeting dates. And then these will be posted so that the public understands that we are committed to meeting once a month for the following fiscal year. So those are in your board packet, July 19th, August 16th. I'm not going to read through the entire list, but we would go again through June, with our last meeting being June 20th, 2023, at which point we would set up the following year. We adjust this calendar, so most of these meetings occur on the third Tuesday of the month, with the exception of May, where we make an adjustment to accommodate the budget vote and not have overlap with our meetings. That was something that Ronnie brought to our attention. And so this is our calendar. If anybody amongst us had a conflict that you knew of today, we can make adjustments. We can adjust throughout the year, but the idea is that these are the fixed dates. And historically, there have been times when the board, where it has been a source of, prior to all of our tenures, there were times when this was challenging for the 5 people. So if anybody has anything that they know of, I'd rather adjust it today than on an ad hoc. But if I could ask for someone to make a motion, then someone to second, and then we'll have discussion if we need it. So do I have a motion to accept the meeting dates?
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting dates.
All right, Jennifer, and
I'll
then
second
Pam, did
that
you want to
motion.
second that? Okay. Does anyone have any conflicts that you know of off right as we sit here? Okay, so I think then we're good to accept these meeting dates. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Okay, so that is the board administration. Andrew, would you like to take us through your report?
Certainly. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Under buildings and grounds, we've received one response to our outdoor master plan RFP. Mr. Link has provided information regarding the project in his facilities report, and will give more information on the RFP itself during his section. Keating Electric has run a fax line to the public copier. Office Dynamics will be configuring the public copier to allow faxing directly for our patrons, so the staff no longer have to go to the administration office in order to send faxes. The art gallery is currently hosting an exhibit showcasing the photography of Randy Masser. Randy was an active member of the community, specifically with the Little League teams, and he currently has a field named in his honor. His son discovered the artwork in the house and put together a book and did an art display, which is really quite nice and a touching tribute. We have received a second quote for the back curtain. The quotes are attached to the board packet. I'm recommending that we purchase the curtain from AT Equipment Sales in the amount of 72. Sorry, I've got the wrong file open. One moment. Apologize for the delay.
It's $7,250.
Thank you. $7,250. It is slightly cheaper than Young Equipment. AT Equipment is also the vendor that installed our front curtain. So if any issues came up, we would be dealing with the same company instead of tracking two different companies. I will need a resolution to purchase that, as that is over the threshold for director purchases. For the strategic plan under infrastructure, we've sent out our RFP as mentioned. We will continue to explore our options to move forward with the project. I have several recommendations under personnel. I'm recommending that we hire Aaron Song and Ben Fine as new library pages, effective June 22nd, 2022, at the rate of $15.41 an hour. I am recommending that Amy Berger pass her probatory period as librarian 1, part-time, effective July 1st, 2022. And I'm recommending that Deborah Bloomgarden pass her probatory period as part-time library clerk, effective July 1st, 2022. The Children's Department has started their summer reading visits this month. In under 2 days, they had already gotten over 80 signups for the summer reading. The summer reading lists for grades K through 6 have been finalized and shared with the school district. I'd like to thank Ann Lim for the enormous work she did getting those designed and formatted. The Westchester Library System has restored access to the public, restored our public access computers after the ransomware attack. I'm very grateful for the speed and efficiency they moved with in order to mitigate that. And then we have been approved for a free Google Suite under the chappaqua.library.org domain, so that we will be able to, in the future, use our own library domain instead of the WLS mail, if we choose to do so. And that is my director's report.
Thank you, Andrew. I just had one question about the curtain, that 7,250. Was that in our budget, or would that be coming out of capital?
That would come out of capital. It was an unexpected expense. The company went out of business during COVID.
Okay, I just wasn't sure the timing of when we found that out and where that landed, but okay, so that will come out of the capital. So a good reason to have a healthy capital fund. It's unfortunate that that we had, the curtains were out at a vendor that went out of business for the new trustees, and so we were unable to retrieve the old ones. However, we will now be getting something that is up to fire code, that we won't need inspections and we won't need to worry about getting it treated for fire prevention. So we'll be replacing the curtain with a better maintenance-free option. So that's the upside. Can I at this time ask for a motion to authorize the director to purchase the 2 panels?
For what and how? Oh, you want the motion? Okay.
It's from AT Equipment Sales for the sum of $7,250. So it's the
okay. I'll make the motion if you want.
Sure. Thank you, Ronnie.
I move that we direct the director to purchase the stage curtain panels from AT Equipment for $7,250.
Do I have a,
I
sorry,
second the motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't see who that was.
It's Pam.
Okay, Pam is seconding. Do we need to have any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Okay, personnel actions we'll get to later in the agenda. Am I missing anything else, Andrew?
Not under my report.
Okay, and then we'll also speak about building and grounds a little bit later in terms of how we want to handle that.
Yes, Mr. Link will speak during the facilities consultants report.
Okay. Okay, so now we'll go right into our financial portion of our agenda. We have the treasurer's report. Thank you, Joe. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, I think the financials speak for themselves. Just you know, as an overview, you know, we are at 100% of realizing the revenues that we budgeted for. Of course, we've gotten all the tax money in, and as far as expenses go, we're in a positive variance circumstance. We're projecting a surplus, an operating surplus of about 180,000, give or take. 1,000.
Okay, yeah, that's fortunate. And at our July meeting, once the fiscal year actually closes, we'll be able to move that to our capital
Yeah.
fund.
It may be a little bit later than July, but
Right.
because we usually keep the books open till somewhere mid-August
Right.
to
With,
capture anything that,
yes, with the
can't-
postal service delaying, sending us bills, invoices, yeah, I understand. Okay.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for Joe?
I do. Joe, does that include the 90,000 that's being moved to capital as per the budget?
yeah, well, that has been reflected in the capital page on this. So that, yeah, so the 90,000 is not part of this
Okay.
calculation. That was separate. We had budgeted for a 90,000 surplus, so.
Ronnie?
Didn't we move that 90,000 into capital already? I thought we talked about that.
We talked about it at the last meeting, so it's reflected
Yeah. That's
at
what
this
Yeah,
time.
so the
Yeah.
100 that we're projecting is an accurate surplus that we would be able to incrementally add less.
Well,
things
that,
like-
yeah, actually, yes, it is.
Right,
Yeah.
less things like the curtain that have come up.
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Can I have a motion to approve the May 2020 statement?
Want me to
I'll
do-
take it from Pam.
I make a motion to pass the May financial report.
Do I have a second to approve the May 2022 statement? Jennifer,
I second the motion to approve.
do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, review of the capital fund. I think we just had a healthy discussion of it. Does anyone have anything else they want to add? Okay, then I know I went in and reviewed all the bills, but I know we all got that in our packet as well. Can I have a motion to approve the July 2020 bills?
Can I just say something on these say the June 2021 bills, not July, Liz. You said July.
Right, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah,
We're still in June.
Yeah, I'm still here. We're still in June. So I'll move that we approve the June 2020, 21, 2022 bills.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Pam? Okay, I just wanted to mention, before we approve them, that in general, we really want to try to use local vendors. So I
Mm.
saw a couple places where we maybe could have used a local vendor. So I think I'm gonna ask of the board that we might want to come up with a list of what local vendors do and can do, and maybe make sure that that's available at the library. You know, I think it's appropriate to support our downtown, especially. Ronnie?
Yeah, I agree with you on that 100%. I think it's really, really important for the people in the community to know that, you know, we shop local, and that's what the library should be doing too, because a lot of these businesses in town do help us out in different ways. So I think that's really important. So thank you for mentioning that, Liz.
Okay, did anyone else have any other comments or questions about the bills this month? Okay, then all in favor of approving the bills?
Aye.
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 Okay, we're unanimous. Okay, we are at our buildings and grounds discussion. Bill is here with us tonight. Bill, you're meeting Pam and Jennifer. Bill has been working with the library for the past few years, overseeing our maintenance and all of the aspects that keep the library comfortable for our patrons and safe. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, and it's nice to meet both of the new trustees. I look forward to working with you.
Same, thank you.
Okay, let me get to my report. Okay. I just had my board report up, and now I don't, so. Well, why don't we skip to the bid package. And just let me see if I can share my screen. I made Andrew, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, let me do that. I thought you could. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, you should be able to share it now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So anyways, the bid for the outside work, we only got one response. Divney, Tongue and Schwabe declined to issue a proposal, and I didn't confirm it, but Andy was kind of upset. He felt that he had put in a lot of time. He attended 2 meetings with the committee. He appeared at a board meeting. I think he might have appeared at 2 board meetings, and then we put it out for an RFP. So I think that may be why he declined. The other ones, it was probably too broad a scope now in hindsight. Only the firm that submitted the bid had all the capabilities in-house. The other 3 firms would have had to subcontract something out. Maybe they didn't want to, I don't know. But anyways, I feel that there are 2 options available to us. One, we can bring in the one vendor that submitted a proposal. We can either have them meet with the B&G committee or present to the entire board next month or at a special meeting. And we can try and negotiate a better price with them. I feel confident we can make some scope changes and get a good, very good job from them. They are a very good firm, and I highly recommend them. Or we can advertise or re-put out RFPs. I'm trying not to use the term bid because these aren't bids. These are RFPs we're soliciting. And then if we did split it up, we'd put one just for the exterior master plan. And that's highlighted in yellow here. And that's actually, this is actually from the bid we put out. So nothing's changed. So it would develop at least 3 concepts to address the library's concerns. And this is what we discussed with the full board when we did the walkthrough with the B&G committee, when we did the walkthrough with Andy as well as H2M. You know, traffic and pedestrian flow. I don't think I need to read this word by word. Do I, Liz?
No, we all have the RFP and we have the packet for tonight with the response that was received. I think that we probably, you know, we should just talk about, you know, at the, I know for professional services, the rules are a little bit different. At the 47,000 or 48, if we round up, at that price point, are we able to move forward with one vendor, or are we like, just so that we understand, and maybe this is a question for Andrew, or maybe we need to take it offline with legal, but what is our obligation to the taxpayer in terms of making sure we're getting a good price?
Legally, for professional services, we do not need to go to bid.
Okay.
But it is highly recommended that you do compare several quotes to make sure that you are not wasting taxpayer money.
Right. And we do have prior,
Yes, we have a prior quote from DTS that does not include the facade assessment, includes the stream channel and the exterior master plan. It does not include the facade assessment. And we can compare that to H2Ms. I'm sorry I didn't do that as of yet, but I can make a quick spreadsheet in the next day or two and get it to you, comparing those 2 prices.
right. So, I mean, I think, so let's have a little discussion. Maybe if you stop sharing screen,
Sure.
we can see whether some of the board members have thought about this, and
Okay, stop share. Okay, good, I'm back.
okay. I see, Ronnie, you have your hand.
Yeah, so I have a question for Bill. The, you said that Andy Tung did most, what the proposal that he gave us previously was pretty much everything except for the
Facade assessment.
Right.
And he broke it out very similarly to what I requested for the prices. So
how did that compare to what, because he was really, you know, good. And how did that compare with what he, with what the price was for this new firm?
I'll be 100% honest, I don't recall. That was quite a while ago. I should have done it and I didn't. I can make a comparison spreadsheet. But it was similar. It was not, I don't remember exactly if it was lower or higher or what, but they were close.
Yeah, because the work has to be done. And it looks like, you know, we have the money, there'll be more money. You know, we had the 90,000 that we put in last year. There'll be money in the new budget, also the surplus. So I think that we have to, you know, it'll mean a lot to me, especially because this was really important to me that this get going. And, you know, that we, because if you look at the front of the library, it really needs help. So it really needs to be done to keep up with things.
So I think what I'm gonna suggest, if the rest of the board is generally amenable, is that we set up a work session specifically to talk through this project. Because I think we need to look at the historical proposals, the pricing, and probably bring our new board members up to speed in terms of what we're asking for and what our options are. And we can do that in a work session, and then if we need to call a separate meeting to quickly, to vote on anything, we can do that if that, we'll work that out. But if everybody's amenable, I would prefer not to take the time this evening and to let Bill put together the spreadsheet and set time aside specifically for this. Does that work for everybody? Okay, excellent. So Bill, I appreciate your help on this. I know it's, I know we have the pressing matter of the channel, and
Yeah.
and we want to make sure we get going, and we've got the parking lot repair, which obviously is an annual timeline that we either do it or we don't.
No, right. It's
So-
too early to sound the alarm on that, but time flies.
Right, but hopefully we will be able to get some time with you in short order if we look to set that up
Okay.
and work session this. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And well, as soon as you schedule it, let me know. Would you want any of the vendor that replied, would you want them there or?
No, I think the board needs to really singularly focus on everything we've received.
Okay,
And make sure that we're very clear and unified in what we are going to commit to, and then decide how we want to proceed, whether we want to reach out to individual vendors who have responded, or whether we want to break this into a maintenance of the building, storm channel, and the rest. So I think we'll be able to have a tight agenda with a couple key questions that we'll be looking to answer amongst ourselves, so that we can be very clear with the potential firm or firms that would help us with the actual planning.
okay, great. Very good. And as for the rest of my report, as I said, I had it up a moment ago and I must have, oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, and I already did prepare the draft scopes. I will do a comparison spreadsheet. And just a couple of items. We planted a tree that was donated by the town in the rear driveway. We made a hole for the time capsule and buried that, reseeded the area. And I made some repairs to a broken door at the back storage area of the library. That door was broken, vandalized. Somebody tried to force it open, pulled it way too hard and broke it. I hope the repairs will last. It might not, and that will be, I would estimate a couple $1,000s to replace that fire door. So fingers crossed it'll work.
Do we need to have it re-inspected if it's a fire door, or?
No, as long as it closes and locks, it's okay, and it does that now.
Okay. All right. And I know you were working on the climate control as we shift into summer with the AC. Are we in
Yeah.
good shape now?
I believe so. Any complaints, Andrew?
Just that it's a little too cold now.
All right, I'll be there tomorrow. We'll make adjustments. Okay,
Yeah, the patrons are in and out. The staff have to stay the whole day, so we want to make sure everyone's
everyone's
very
happy.
comfortable. And I appreciate you working on those, 1 and 2 degree adjustments. So we'll
Yes.
get it right. Okay, it's a lot of space. It's a huge building when you think about it.
Yes.
Okay.
All
Bill,
right.
thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we'll reach out tomorrow and schedule time to, and write down what our core questions that we're going to answer so that we
Okay.
can move this forward efficiently.
Fantastic. Okay, and just before I go, Ronnie, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so
And-
much, Bill. It
And
has,
once again, welcome to Pam and Jennifer. Look forward to working with you.
thanks.
And
Bill.
you.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, so I believe we are up to personnel. No, sorry, we are up to committee reports. So I think that covers building and grounds. I would respectfully request that we not do committee reports actually in the interest of time, unless someone was anxious to do that. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So we need to make some personnel motions. Does someone have those up in front of them and want, Ronnie, you want to make the motions?
Sure. So I move that we hire Erin Song as a library page effective June 22nd, 2022 at the rate of $15.41.
Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
Showray, I see your hand. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Unanimous.
Then I have another one.
Yep.
I move that we appoint Ben Fine, a library page effective June 22nd, 2022 at the rate of $15.41 an hour.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Pam, you're seconding.
Mhm.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Do you want me to keep going? Because I have.
Please.
Okay. Then I move that we make Amy Berger permanent part-time librarian 1 effective July 1, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Showray? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye. Unanimous.
Then I have another one. I move that we make Deborah Bloomgarden permanent part-time library clerk effective July 1, 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Pam?
I don't,
I second.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Okay, then I have one more. I move that we accept the resignation of Andrew Farber, Director 3, Library Director 3, effective July 2nd, 2022.
Do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, and that's it,
Unanimous.
personnel.
Okay, thank you, Ronnie, for efficiently running through our personnel actions.
My pleasure.
Okay. At this time, we've conducted the bulk of our business. I don't know if anyone had anything that they wanted to raise for new business. Okay, great. So then and do we have any, just as a courtesy to the public, Andrew, is there anyone who is looking to comment at this time?
Yes, Amy Berger has her hand raised. I will promote her to a panelist to allow her to talk and share her screen.
Sure.
Okay.
Amy, you are now in the meeting, we need your screen and your mic.
Thanks, Liz. I just wanted to say that I'm devastated and sad that Andrew's leaving, and everyone I spoke to today at the library is very sad. Andrew was great for Chappaqua because his skill set is exactly what we needed at this point in time. His impact for such a short time was substantial, and he created an open and kind atmosphere and let everyone help work together to improve the services that we provide. And this is a great loss for us.
Well said.
That's it.
Thank you, Amy, and congratulations on your promotion.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you, Amy. It was nice to hear. I'm going to move you back to an attendee.
Okay. Andrew, as you heard, we made the motion to accept your resignation in come 2 weeks' time. We will also be planning a way to celebrate your tenure and thank you for your service. So that will happen with the with appropriate with the staff and of course a gift, although we won't be on a Zoom for it. But we did want to, as a board, thank you and acknowledge that you came in during a time when we were mid-pandemic and we had an outgoing director who had a very long tenure, and you came in and really worked hard here, and we appreciate that, and we really will miss you and Ronnie very much. Both of you have made tremendous contributions to the library. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Liz, very much.
Can I at this time ask for a motion, Ronnie?
Yes, please give me the honor and privilege of making this motion, Liz. So I move that we adjourn the June 21, 2022 Library Board meeting at 8:32 p.m.
Do I have a second? Showray, you're seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much and good evening.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.